The majority chief whip, Boni Khalwale, has remained on his position, and today in the Senate, despite of government calling out, government holding their stand on the doctors' plight for salary, for implementation of the CBA, the government chief whip, Boni Khalwale, a very good friend of mine, is insisting that everything must be done to pay the doctors. By the way, I think good move. The doctors have finally called off the strike. Even though once again I've received some calls from medical interns that are crying out that, Kevin, the strike is ended, but we've got a raw deal. Again, we've been sent under the bus, that our union officials have betrayed us. I don't know why, but we will look at, I've not seen that document. I think it's not yet been made public because they were taking it to court. They were going to register it in court. Probably we will see it later. So we'll see what was the deal. But medical interns are crying out that they've not got a good deal. To the surprise of many, Boni Khalwale lectured UDA senators led by Cherargei and is asking that where is it written on earth or in law that if you are elected with the UDA majority, you need to support government even if they are wrong. And according to him, he's schooling them that oversight is both an obligation of majority and minority. In fact, that is the role of the House. Things got ugly. And even Cherargei called out Senator Khalwale to leave his position if he cannot stick to defending government policies. I wanted to watch that, and because I want to interpret that clash. Now,
where were you in your primary school when your classmate beat you and qualified with better grades to become a doctor and you couldn't? Mr. Speaker, I request the Senator of Nandi to be apologetic. In fact, it's a privilege to him that we have introduced a system of adult education, Kumbaru, in degrees. Otherwise, traditionally, he should not appear in court at all, because it's only Kumbaru that has allowed him to become a lawyer. He should be told the people he's berating are the same ones who got an A in maths, an A in physics, an A in chemistry, an A in everything when he was struggling with C minus, C, those kind of things. We must pay doctors. What is the big deal? And
what's your point of what?
I don't know. I'm very disturbed when I hear a lot of voices on the minority side pushing the correct agenda, and the majority on the majority side defending the wrong agenda. I wonder, who told members of parliament that you are elected to come to parliament so as to support the government even when in its policy the government is wrong? Who told you? It is our responsibility on the majority side, on the minority side, to critically critique government policy so that we make it better. Mr. Speaker, if we do not correct the problem of these doctors, do you know it can go on for the whole year? For your information, colleagues, your child who tonight will have an asthmatic attack, God forbid, is not going to be treated by anybody else other than the medical interns at the private hospitals, because we senior doctors do not go on call. The younger doctors, the ones you're calling unqualified people, they are the ones who are on the first line. There is a young man called Ndindi Nyoro, the chairman of Budget and Appropriation Committee, Finance something. That committee in the National Assembly that advises Parliament on issues of appropriation, which figures go where and what not. Ndindi Nyoro, my good brother, relax, work. Instead of setting your eye on an imaginary year called 2032, where your age mates are telling you that you will be ABCD, concentrate, do your work for a few years. Before you came there, Mutaba Musimi was there. Before Mutaba Musimi came there, others were there. Don't use that opportunity to deny key.
Mr. Speaker, our standing orders guide us at any given. Can the senator of Kakamega withdraw and apologize? Because tomorrow somebody else will come and discuss another member of National Assembly, or even the conduct of another person who they are not here to defend himself, Mr. Speaker. I know he has been getting away with many of the things, creating snipes against colleagues, and Mr. Speaker, Senator Khalwale should behave like a majority chief whip. Unless he is the majority chief whip in government but in opposition, he should choose sides. You cannot be having your cake and eat it, Mr. Speaker.
But Mr. Speaker, having said like that, I don't know why it is occurring to the distinguished senator to become the barometer to measure how somebody should serve when he is in the office of the government whip. Mr. Speaker, the positions that people have in this country, Mr. Speaker, they are earned. You are here as a senator because you won in Bomet. Cherargei, you are here as a senator because you won in Nandi. I'm here for the same reason. And the fact that I became the chief whip, my brother, yes, it is because of the contribution I made to form the government. You did not invite me to the government. I made my contribution. And therefore, if you think my contribution does not meet the position I hold today, then please kindly go and justify that you contributed more than me. I don't think there's a single vote you added to William Ruto, because all the votes in Nandi, Ruto was going to get anyway.
Mkufunzi. Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. These days, we lawyers just listen in bemusement when members whose professions we have no clue stand up here and deride and attack lawyers. These days we just laugh, but it would be interesting if one day you stood up and also told us about your profession, not just attacking lawyers and we don't even know what you do. Mr. Speaker, my doctor is 28 years old, and the last time I went to see her on a routine medical checkup, she expressed to me very serious frustration when she hears members of parliament speaking about doctors. It's as if people have simply refused to listen to these medical professionals or to even understand anything about them. So when you hear somebody who claims to be a lawyer embarrassing all lawyers by trying to draw comparisons between a medical intern and a pupil at a law firm who should be paid in Githeri, Mr. Speaker, it is extremely embarrassing that some of these people share a profession with me. Mr. Speaker, when you speak to these doctors, they don't understand how these things are not getting through to people. How can they spend a whole 3 months explaining to you what a medical intern is, but when you stand up here, you say, oh, we should be standardizing and paying them the way we pay pupils at a law firm.
It's coming a day after reports emerged of a backlash as Mulembe Nation insists they are willing to fold their party, but it's not folding to join UDA. They're willing to fold, but if a neutral party will be formed, and that position has emerged of any the Friday night meeting that was made, it failed to ink any deal between the Luhya leaders, between Ford Kenya and ANC. And so one thing I have actually realized, and this is not the first time, I think Boni and a host of other MPs, even the ones that cannot just speak on camera, recently when there was UDA grassroots elections, they were not so active. They were not even seen. Someone was asking in Siaya, by the way, in Siaya, who was elected anywhere? You can't even be told. So UDA MPs, apart from even that of Boni Khalwale, there seems to be them, not the strong candidates that they used to be by then. And so, the 2027 political reorganization is taking shape. While some people are, strategically placing themselves to be on the margin so that they could hit their opponents. But that transition is not going to be very easy in 2027 for Luhya. And just looking at the political trends, if you look at what Natembeya is saying, even though I strongly believe Natembeya is RUTO's spanner boy in the region, there seems to be a lot of discomfort within Mulembe Nation. Do you know even the Kera road allocation funds that was released last week? I was shocked. Kiambu County was given 1.4 billion. My county of Siaya, I've done my research. We've not even been given a shilling. The road from Luanda to Siaya is pathetic. Kakamega County is the only county out of all the 5 counties in Western that have received 50 million, which is also around the State House, the State Lodge in Kakamega. So the whole of Nyanza did not get it. And then someone will come and tell you that don't talk about politics of tribe. Hey, I'm telling you, I heard Nani talking about it and I was shocked. It has to be said because that is what it is. It's not being said because it's tribalism, it has to be said because that is what it is. And Mulembe is getting a lot of discomfort. That's what I have actually realized. And what is causing the discomfort even will be around the Mulembe circle are these 4 main issues. The first one, Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Masika Wetangula have either abandoned or have a weak bargaining power. What is expected is there's been a narrative of who is the third and second and the fourth in command. I want to believe they may not be the third or fourth, but they are in the top leadership. But the leaders are feeling that things are not as was expected. The ripple effect of being in government is not being felt. And that's the first reason why it is not a guarantee that Mulembe will swing to RUTO's tune in 2027. There's been a lot. And the young leaders are coming out asking the tough questions that the political bigwigs cannot ask. Caleb Hamisi, Saboti MP, has been so critical asking the question of what is really in it for Mulembe Nation. The other bit I'm also seeing is the local UDA, the UDA popularity in the region. I want to believe that the Senator Khalwale wants to vie as a governor in 2027. And if he's to vie through UDA ticket, then he's going to squeak out with none other than Cleophas Malala. And so, even if he seeks another position, maybe even say if he still decides to vie for Senate, he will still be on UDA. But if from whatever he's saying, in his statement there is something he's saying there, I got it by right. It is not a privilege that I am a chief whip. By the way, my good friend Boni Khalwale had to drop his bid for governor for Malala, for him to accept. And I think probably he was promised that if you drop and I get, and if you drop then you vie for senator, then you'll even be made the chief whip. So there are some more privileges that comes with someone being the chief whip in the National Assembly or in the Senate. So what they've realized is that party is unpopular. So what the message they are sending is we are on our way out. Then the third interpretation of whatever is happening in actually in Mulembe Nation is what I can see as the overall policy failure. Many are seeing policy failures. In fact, when things are not working, it's not just working for someone, it's not working for all. So that overall policy failure is making people feel like I cannot even defend the government. The more I defend the government, the more I'm going to listen to my opponent. And lastly, I believe the get-rich team that got all the privileges kicked other people out of the kitchen cabinet and they're eating alone. So people are not so much comfortable by everything happening behind the scene. I agree with the senator. It's not true that if you are elected through UDA, then you have to sing to the tune of UDA administration. I think the senator is right on that. Thank you, guys.